Hi everyone, Marie here, back with you, Crafty Landing. I'm here sitting in my crafting space, which happens to be on the upstairs landing in front of a large mirror. So hence my name, Crafty Landing. So hi, I'm really pleased to be back with you again today. Another collaboration by Rach Bella Crafts. Isn't it fantastic? They do so many collaborations. I'm very fortunate to be invited back. This is the list of channels and the prompts. I'm not going to share the kit or anything with you. We are on day 11, so you will have got into the swing of it by now. And if you're new here, please go over to rachelbellacrafts.com, click on the collaborations from the menu bar, and all the information for a Crafters Christmas Hop will be there, including all the people involved and their YouTube channel links. Those of you who are eagle-eyed will notice that this is next week's list. I did have this week's list, but I sort of accidentally chopped it off. Never mind. We are on day 11. My partner is Dianne from the Messy Palette AU. That's her YouTube name. And we were given the task of creative covers. So cover me creatively. I went over and had a look through Dianne's channel, and I looked through some of her videos, and oh my gosh, she does some fantastic things. So I would go over there and have a look. And I am second today, so you will have already seen Dianne's video and the cover that she has created. And because I'm created two, I am going to take her idea and kind of give it my spin. And that's what the collaboration is all about. You have a creator one and a creator two, and they are working together, but also in a different way. So, yes, I'm not going to show you the kit because you will have already seen it, seeing as we're on day 11. And if you haven't, go to the very start of the collaboration where Rachel does a fantastic introduction to the collaboration and gives you a video of the whole kit, because there are 4 parts to the kit. It's 40% off at the moment, rachelbellacrafts.com. As I always say, don't walk, but run there. If you buy all 4, it's a bundle, so that's even cheaper, and you get the 40% off. Or you can buy them separately, and I think there's the journal kit, the background kit, the add-on kit, which is the pockets and the tags and things like that, and the fussy cut kit. So yeah, 4 kits. Why did I have 3 fingers up then? Did I say 4 things? Journal kit, background kit, add-on kit, fussy cut kit. Yes. Now, the sun is about to come out, so it's going to shine through my lovely big window. I'm sorry if we go from light to a bit of darkness. Please bear with me. I don't want to put the blind down because we really will be in complete darkness then, almost. So let me crack on. So as I've said, my partner is Dianne. We are doing Cover Me Creative. Let me move the kit out the way for a minute. So this is what my journal cover is beginning to look like. So hey, those of you that know me know I love the vintage vibe, and I am making my December journal this year, my Christmas journal, in the vintage vibe. So it's not finished yet, but the cover is, because it is part of the cover that I'm going to share with you today. And it's this bit here. I'll get onto that in a minute. So remember, our prompt is cover me creatively, creative covers. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make the whole cover, but what I've done is I've used some scrapbooking card, which has an image, a vintage Christmas image, very much like Tim Holtz, but it's not Tim Holtz paper. It's from a craft shop just down the road from me, actually. And I've used this lovely wired Christmas word, which I've had in my stash for years. Some vintage lace going down the side, vintage rickrack, and then I've sewn on some vintage buttons. And down here, we have like a little crocheted star doily, which I've sewn on again using a vintage button. And we've got some beautiful little gems here, which are on like a twig. So it's a bit Christmassy, beautiful red gems. And it's this, oh, and actually, sorry, I've covered it in gold tulle. So I've sewn gold tulle all the way round, then the vintage lace and the vintage rickrack. And there is the scrapbook paper. So like I say, it's very Tim Holtzy, but it's not. It's from my local craft shop. And there is the spine part of the lace down the back, and I've sewn it down there as well. So this is the bit we're going to concentrate on today. And creative covers. So my cover is there, but this is the bit that I think makes it more creative. An image from my stash. I'm just going to move that out the way because this is what we're going to make today. And you open it up and you have that lovely, lovely pop-up bit inside. So that will, it needs a little bit of coaxing. So we have that, and then you open it up and you have the pop-up inside, and you'll see that this is where I've used the images from Rachel's kit. So you can make it as creative as you want. These are the tags, the little tags from this sheet here. So I've cut them out to use down there. I did just have to sort of slim them slightly. They were slightly too wide. If you use these, I don't know if I'll use them in the demonstration that I'll do with you, but you have to be careful because it's the tops of them that can get caught when you close it. It just kind of needs a little bit of coaxing. But as you can see, it is lying down fairly flat. I have a bit of ribbon here to keep it tied. I've collaged the top and I've left my little journaling card with this beautiful image on, just resting on top underneath the tied ribbon. So this is what we're going to do today. I love it. Look at that. Woo! So I will show you how to do that. Let me just tie this up. You will need some cardstock for the actual mechanism part of it. I'm all fingers and thumbs today. Bear with, bear with. Oh, come on. So yes, I suggest you use cardstock for the mechanism part of it. And I've got measurements for you already. So this is what we are going to need. You're going to need one piece that is 24 centimeters by 9 centimeters. So obviously 24 centimeters long by 9 centimeters wide. And here is my piece, that size. Okay. And in a minute, we're going to be folding it in half. So these dashed lines are where you fold. If you work in inches, the first piece, the biggest piece that you need is approximately 9.4 inches by 3.5 inches. I will pop all these measurements in the description below. Okay, so you can either pause the screen now or you can just check the description box. So you need one piece that size. You need a second piece this size, which is 20 centimeters by 7 centimeters. So again, 20 centimeters long and 7 centimeters wide. And we're going to be folding that into quarters. So I've got my dashes where we're going to fold. And if you work in inches, it's going to be 7.9 inches by 2.8 inches. And then our final piece is the smallest piece, this one here. And it is 17 centimeters by 7 centimeters. And we're going to be marking 5 centimeters in order to fold diagonally. So we're going to mark 5 centimeters in that side, 5 centimeters in from the other side, and we're going to be folding diagonally as well as folding in half, which is 3.5 centimeters. If you work in inches, as I already said, it's 6.7 inches, approximately 2.8 inches. So as I say, you can either pause the screen now or I have listed in the description box below. So I'm going to put that away now for a minute. Right, so this is what we're going to do. So those pieces, basically, I've done one here already, just to show you. it basically, when you put it together, it basically is sort of going to look like this. Okay, so that obviously is the piece that we're going to fold in quarters, and that is the piece where we are going to fold in 5 centimeters and then fold it diagonally and in half. All right, and the third piece is the largest piece, which is actually going to be the cover. Okay, but I wanted to show you the actual mechanism and how it works. This is with double-sided cardstock, and this one is actually slightly larger than the one we're making, but it will still fit on an A5 cover. If so, you can play around with the measurements if you want to get it a bit bigger, smaller. So yeah, you can actually have a play and adjust the measurements, all right? But that is the mechanism. So there we are. I'm going to move that one out of the way now. Okay, so I've cut my pieces. This one, the largest piece, is the one that we have to fold in half. Now I'm going to fold, mine is not double-sided, so the first thing I'm going to do is ink. Actually, I'll fold first, then ink. Let's get all the folds done. So this one we need to fold in half. So that's relatively easy. Just match it up and get my bone folder. There we go. Okay, and that one is folded in half. Now the second piece, the 20 centimeters by 7 centimeters, we need to fold it in quarters, which therefore is every 5 centimeters because it's 20 centimeters long. So I'm going to put this, you can't see, let me put it up here a bit. So I'm going to need to mark every 5 centimeters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a mark there and there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There and there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There and there. Now you could get your scoreboard if you've got centimeters on your scoreboard. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just start it off with my ruler by putting the ruler against my 2 marks and just getting it going. Now this piece is the piece that's going to allow the pop-up bit. So this bit here. So you can see that we need to fold it like an M, so like a zigzag. So we need to fold it in, out, in, out. Mine's, if you've got double-sided cardstock, that's, it doesn't matter, but I haven't. So I'm going to want, I think, the white side facing me because I'm going to be putting things on it and I can ink around. I think I want the underside already covered. So that means I need to, nope, I need to do it this way. So I need it coming out this way. I'll show you. If you've got double-sided cardstock, it doesn't really matter, but mine is single-sided. So there we go. And I'm just going to help that along. Okay. By burnishing it down with my bone folder. So there we go. Okay. The pattern is on the underside. I'm going to be decorating this side. So we have that folded. Now, the third piece is the trickiest piece to fold. So 17 centimeters by 7 centimeters, I have it here. We have to mark 5 centimeters in and then fold diagonally, as well as folding it in half, 3.5 centimeters. So the folding in half bit is okay because it just means I need to fold it in half lengthways. So let me just do that a minute. I'm going to actually mark it though to help me fold because it's quite a long piece. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 because I know that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 3.5. Again, I'm going to get my ruler and I'm just going to get me folding it along. Okay. Get that started and then I can now meet up the sides, marry up. Why won't they marry up? There we go. There we go. And then just burnish it down. There we are. Okay, so that's in half that way. That's the easy bit done. Now remember, we have to fold, mark and fold diagonally 5 centimeters in. So I'm going to go 5 centimeters in, mark, 5 centimeters in, mark, 5 centimeters in, mark, and then again 5 centimeters in and a mark. And I need to fold it diagonally. So sorry if it's a bit bright. The sun has come out again. Lovely sunshine. I'm not going to close the blind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters mark. 5 centimeters in this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to be, remember, folding it diagonally. Let me get my little ruler. Okay, so I'm going to marry up the marks against the ruler and then, okay, fold diagonally and then marry up the marks again this way and fold diagonally. So now I've got my fold started. You can see that it's like crossing over into an L shape. You can see it's like an L shape. So that one and that one. And actually, when you do the diagonal fold, when you're folding it, it should actually meet the mark that you made to start with. So then you know that it's nice and correct. So that one there and that one there. Now this is the mechanism, and I think I want this part showing. So I think I'm going to bend it this way in half. It's because my cardstock isn't double-sided. I'm just trying to think. So that is going to, so this is where those bits are going to be stuck on the top and bottom of the opening card. So I'm going to show you how that works. So when that is folded, it kind of looks like an arrowhead. There are lots of other YouTube videos that explain and share this kind of mechanism. So if you're not quite understanding me, you'll need to watch a different style of someone making it. Go ahead, search on YouTube, because there are lots of videos out there. So now, see, we're going to glue that bit onto that bit, which will hold that, and then that bit onto the back, so that when you open it, look, okay, so that's the folding mechanism there. I am going to ink all of these now. Because I'm going to ink all the edges and the fold lines and things like that, and then I'll come back and we'll do the next step. So I'm going off to ink now. Hi, I'm back with you. I've got everything inked now. So that one is going to be our cover. So you can see clearly where I folded it in half. This one is going to have those images on that pop out from the center of the card. So again, you can see where we folded the piece. And this is the actual mechanism part. So these two triangles here on the other side are going to be what glues to our card that opens and closes, and it's going to look like that. So that is the actual mechanism piece, and you can see here where I've inked where the folds are. So we need to fold it in half, and then we need to fold diagonally after we've measured 5 centimeters in from both sides, and that's what makes the mechanism work. Okay, so those are all my pieces. Now it's time for decorating. So let's start with the actual card that is stuck to your journal cover and opens and closes. So it's going to open and close like that. So a top opening card, not a standard sideways one, where it's going to be opening from the bottom upwards. So I'll do the outside, I think, last. I'm going to think about the inside. I have got pieces ready. So I'm going to pop that one down the bottom there. And I'm going to pop that one at the top there. So I need to ink the edges of those and glue them down. So yes, I'm very curious to find out what Dianne has done for her actual creative cover, because of course I won't have seen her video for today. I've only gone and watched some previous ones that she did, and she sent me one that she said she was going to base her cover on. So I've had a really good watch of that one. So it'll be interesting to see how similar or different our ideas are. So I can tell from the way she crafts that she's a very 3D crafter and likes to layer up things. So that's why on my actual cover I've put tulle, and then I've layered up with some vintage buttons and a doily, because I'm trying to sort of make my cover her way as much as possible, so that it looks like I'm following along with her as well, because I'm creator too. So she does it her style, very bright colours and very 3D, and I've sort of, oh, what my glue is, come on glue, and I've followed it along, but in my style, which is brilliant, that you can kind of take someone's idea but then adapt it to suit your own style. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that vintage is definitely my vibe. I love things vintage. So those are on there. Now I did think, I'm not going to worry too much about the bottom for a minute, because I might put something in this corner once the mechanism is in and I can see what it's like. But I did think about putting this bauble here, and I've cut this bauble out from one of the sheets from the kit, and it has got lots of baubles on, and I've just chosen that one. I'm trying to see if I've got it. Here it is. So that's that, and I've cut the one that was there. Oh, sorry about the sun. The sun's coming out. So I'm wondering about popping that bauble at the top there. I'm just going to check that that's not going to be in the way. No, right, lovely. So I'm going to ink the bauble up a little bit and then stick the bauble down. Okay, so I'm going to bring that a bit towards me. I hope you can see. I am sorry about the sun. Winter sun is very low, isn't it? And like I say, I craft in front of a huge window on the upstairs landing, and it's lovely to have that lightness to craft in. But when the sun is out, boy, it comes beating in through that window. And I don't want to put the blind down. Right, so look at that. That lovely bauble is there. Okay, now the pop-up pieces. Let's do those next a moment. So I'll set aside that to dry a little bit. Now, let me put the glue on this while I talk to you about what I'm doing. So again, I have my pieces ready. You don't want to watch me cutting out and things. So I'm going to use that background sheet that I've cut. I'm going to glue that down, and I think about, oh, don't you just want to twirl? Look at him, Gonk Father Christmas. Is he in his pajamas? Don't you just want to go up and twirl the little bit of moustache that he's got? He's so cute, isn't he? So cute. So he's going there. And I did think about the Christmas tree going there, and all these images I've cut out from the fussy cut sheets. And then I've cut out the bell. Now the bell had a bow. I think it's here. I think the bell was attached to this bow, but the bow is too big. So I've just cut away the bell, and I'll use the bow for something else. So the bell will fit nicely on that one there. And then I have cut out another one of the tags off the tag sheet. Remember, I've slimmed it down because it's too wide, so as it is. So I've slimmed it down, and I'm going to pop it on a different background. I thought I might have that background just for a bit of a change, and pop the tag on. Now, in my original one, I actually stuck the tag on and had some ribbon coming out of there. I'll punch a hole in there in a minute. But this time, I'm wondering about using a bit of lace to make a pocket and having the tag actually removable. I am going to try that, because if all else fails and it doesn't work or the tag keeps falling out, we'll just glue the lace down completely, and then I'll glue the tag on top. But I do want to try having a pocket. So I'm going to stick down the backgrounds first after we've done some inking. Just rough inking. I think I measured these because I know each one is 5 centimeters by 7 centimeters. I think I did 4.5 by 6.5 for each of these, so that it would leave a little bit of a border here, and I've inked it anyway to give it that bit more of a vintage look about it. If you like the clean, fresh lines, then you may not ink in tea dye, which is what I'm inking in. You may not ink at all, or you may ink in like a red or a Christmas green. I did toy with the idea of getting some gold paint and rubbing gold around my folds, which I thought would be good. But I didn't want to take up too much time on this video. So now I'm going to very quickly and carefully ink around my cutout images. Even though Rachel has been really, really kind and given us a little outline. You don't really have to ink, but I'm going to. There won't be a white edge if you cut out when you cut out the fussy cuts, because Rachel has actually given us a cream outline so that when we've cut it out, we don't have that white line. And then my bell, which has even got a little bit of lace around there. I could actually get some small lace from my stash and mimic that. I might do that at a later date. I might do that. Yes, I might do that off camera and then take a photo and pop it in the Facebook group to show you. Right, that's those. I need to ink my tag and punch the hole. I've backed it onto some thin cardstock because I do want to see if I can actually use this one as an interactive one, for it to actually come in and out of a pocket. Now I'm going to get my little crocodile here, and I want the small hole. I'm going to punch the small hole here. There we go. And I'm going to ink it to get rid of that white bit there. Now I'm thinking, do I want to have a hole reinforcer? I might do that. So I might just, no, I won't, I'll leave it. Right, now this pocket, let's stick the backgrounds on, and then I can sort out my pocket. So I'm just going, ooh. Right, watching everybody's videos, there are definitely some really, really brilliant and inspirational ideas to try. Oh, that's not straight, Marie. Doesn't matter too much. I definitely want to have a go at Carol's one, where she used the present as a hidden pocket, and you pull the lid off the present. And then there are some tags and things in there in her present. Oh, that's a cool idea. Angela and Megan from the paper mill. Angela Kerr was partnered with Megan from the paper mill. Megan's a fairly new collaborator with us. And they did sort of like belly bands, double belly bands. You have a double whammy. And I want to try some of those because even though they're the same sort of double belly bands, if you've watched the videos, you'll see that they're very different styles, aren't they? But I love them, so I want to try those. And I think Megan works very much like me, where we don't measure things usually, we just tear with our rulers and glue, so it's a bit more organic, I suppose. And also, she has a vintage vibe about her style, which I also do, so I do like hers. And who else? What did I think that was genius? I can't remember the name of it now. The one where oh goodness, is it Berry No, I'll have to look it up. But they are all. Am I going to put that one there? Yes. They are all so great. It's really brilliant what we come up with. Even though some of us may have been junk journaling a long time, there are still so many new ideas to try. It's brilliant. And also, there's nothing wrong, I think, with like this time round with us going back into our videos like um, Dianne has been doing to sort of revamp one that she's done before. There's nothing wrong with that either. I think that's necessary um, because there's always newbies into the junk journaling world, but also sometimes I go back and I see something that I've previously done before and I'm like, ooh, why didn't I add that? Or why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I change that about it? There's always something to develop as we grow and learn from each other. So when we're following an idea, it very rarely looks exactly the same anyway, because you do it in your style, you do it in your spin. Right, Marie, that's those. Now remember this one. I want the tag to come in and out of that one. So I do want a little pocket. And I have this lovely bit of lace here. I'm sorry about the sunshine, folks. Let me move up a bit. Right, I do have this bit of lace. These have got to fold. So I can't have the lace interfering too much. So I'm just seeing how much room I've got here for the tag. And I'm going to cut this lace because the lace really has to be glued inside those fold lines. It has to be able to go inside those fold lines. It can't interfere with the other side of the fold. So let's just see what I've got here. Let's make sure that is going to hold. Yes, I think that might. Now, very thin line of glue is what I need. She says, have I got... Oh, I'm going to have to use this one. But just very thin. Okay. So bear with me as I patiently squeeze this glue out very thinly and finely so that I can very gingerly glue my pocket down. Okay, there. I'm just going to press it down very lightly and then just leave that to take for a minute or two. It's a bit thick over here, so I'm hoping that will be all right. So I'm just going to leave that alone a minute and leave that to dry. Now, I did say I would do the outside of the card last, but while I'm waiting for that there to dry, I think we can have a little ponder on the outside of the opening. So I thought about that, and I've cut out this lovely stocking from the fussy cut sheet, but I do think it needs a little bit more because it's the cover, And this is where that bow could come into play from the bell. So I'm just going to quickly cut out the bow and we can see if it's going to work. Right. I'm very roughly doing it here. If I was not videoing, I would be taking a bit more care. But I'm going to be inking it anyway. And as we all know, inking can hide a multitude of things, including rubbish cutting out. Okay, let's follow that one there. Of course, I could get my own ribbon and lace and actually do a bow for real, but let's just use Rachel's kits. So that could go there, and then that could go there. I'm liking the look of that. I do want to collage it up a little bit more. Maybe we need some contrasting paper, or how about some genuine vintage music score? We could have a little bit of that, couldn't we? So if I tear about there, let me see what it's going to look like. I think it needs to be underneath. I think I need to tear this bit. And the music score sheet then needs to be underneath it, I think. So that will be like that. And then that will be there. And that will be there. Yes, that's the way I like it. So I'm now going to make sure I cut this or tear this correctly to the right length. There we go. So save those for something else. And now a bit more inking. Got to be delicate with the music sheet. And what's the time? Okay, not too bad, Marie. I'm very rubbish at doing quick videos. I am aware of that. Trying hard, but when you've got to show something and you want to show it right, well, there we go. And you can always put me on double speed. Is that the page I had before? Oh well, is that the right way up? I don't think that's the right way up. I'm going to leave it like that. There we go. And then that one will go on there. Yep, okay. Ink the bow. Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. I might put a gem in the centre of the bow. Give it a bit of bling. And I love the holly and berries underneath this image. Underneath the whole stocking is just beautiful. Rachel's very, very clever at all the little details. Look, even the lace across the top. Every year, my mum used to, I'm one of five, four girls and a lad, my brother. And every year my mum would make us girls some sort of handmade stocking or bag, Christmas stocking or a Christmas bag that she would put our gifts in. Even as young adults, she would do that. Not anymore. We're too, bless her. But yes, she's very creative like that. Some of you will know my mum from the retreats. There, lovely. Right, Marie, let's just glue that on gently with the music paper. Whoops. Yes, so my mum Denise, some of you will know her from attending Rachel's retreats with me. We are a double act, just like Bella and Rachel themselves. So it's nice. I love crafting with my mum. I think I've said before. I feel so, so lucky to be able to do that with her and that we share the same hobby and crafting interests. Very different styles. My mum, her embroidery is exquisite. Her attention to details. She does a lot of embroidery in her junk journals, and oh my goodness, they are just gorgeous. Right, that and that. So the bow needs to go on first because I want it underneath my stocking. I am rushing, guys. I'm sorry. So let's put the bow there. I like it already. Look, just by layering some of the pieces. That is the trick, people. I do love layering. And if Rachel's got 2 collage sheets. Well, she's actually got 4 collage sheets in the kit. 2 that are just like the background of the collages, and 2 where she's popped images on the top of some of like the joins of where the papers meet in the collage, just like you're doing a master board. That's what I call the collage sheets in Rachel's kits. They're just like doing a master board. So it's a digital version of a master board like that. How cute is that? Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. And I might pop a gem in the bow, maybe some lace on the stocking. Right, now, a bit of lace for in here. What have I got? Oh, yes, I've got some tulle from my actual cover. Can I get that through there? I think I can. Let's use some of this gold tulle. This is the stuff, the gold tulle that I covered my cover in over the top of the Christmas card stock that I had from a scrapbooking kit from my local shop. Right, I'm going to pop that through there, she says. Ooh. And I'm just going to tie that, she says. Fiddly, fiddly. Why do I do these things? There we go. Like that. I might do a double knot so that it goes upwards rather than sticks out sideways. Let's try that. Is that going to go upwards a bit? Yep, it's a little bit. Super. And then that goes in. Oh, lush. There. I'm going to leave it out while I assemble it all in case it's not completely dry yet. Right, folks, so this is now, we need the mechanism because we are ready to put it all together. So what we do is we open that, we get our mechanism all folded, okay, and I'm going to glue that triangle to the bottom first, okay, and when that's secure, I'm going to glue this top triangle, close it down and press. Now, to allow for, because it's quite thick, I'm not going to butt it up right at the fold in there, right at the crease line. I'm going to leave just a little bit of room so that it can fold over naturally without wanting to bend and curve too much. So I'm gluing this bit here, okay. Now, if you've got a glue spreader, you might want to use that here so that you get the glue all the way to the edge. It's not completely necessary, but you might want to just get that glue right to the edge. Okay, so I'm going to turn sideways so that I can see it. Try and keep out of the sunlight for you. And I'm just going to roughly where I think the center is and come away from the top a little bit, come away from that crease line just a little bit. How is that looking? Yep, before it completely glues, because you do have a bit of wiggle room with wet glue. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same with this triangle here. Put glue there, just on the triangle. Get my spreader and just spread that to the edges. Like that, and I can see that I've got a little bit there. I'll wipe that away. Now, fold that down and press. Okay. My glue is quite good. It is quite strong glue, so I shouldn't have to wait too long. I can see that my bow needs a little bit more glue there, so I'm just going to do that while I'm waiting and for it to set. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Lush. And then open, and there's your mechanism. Okay. So I'm glad I inked my edges now, because it would have been white. Not that you're going to see a lot of it. Okay. So just very carefully open those. And it's not going to open completely flat because we glued it, so it's only going to open, can you see in there? All right, so don't worry that it's not opening completely flat, because we don't want it to. So now my center, okay, that's my center there. So I need to, I'm going to be gluing, let me this and this and this. Okay, I'm going to be gluing where's the center? I'm just sorry guys, I'm going to mark where the center is so that we can both see. So between the cross lines it measures 7. Mine measures 7, so 3.5. 3.5 there. Okay, there, which means 3.5 this side is there. Okay, right, so now I know that I can match my halves up. So where the fold is, match my halves up, and they should be the same width, because these were the two pieces that were the same width. Now when you've matched the centers up of each one, you want to glue just this bit here. Okay, so you want to glue this part onto there. Okay, making sure your centers are still together. That's there. And on this side you're going to glue the bottom part. Okay, so one top, one bottom, because of the way it's going to fold. Right, and then press that one down. Okay, I'm just pushing it to make sure it's still going to work. Right, so one at the bottom and one at the top. Okay, and as you can see, it's already looking like it's going to work. So one at the bottom corner, and if I show you this side, they don't match up, and they're not supposed to, because this piece was longer than the original piece. This piece was 20 centimeters long, whereas the mechanism piece is only 17 centimeters long. So the middle piece is longer, so it will overlap, and that means it's right. Okay, I think that's, and there we go. What's happening to this one? Get it going. Lovely. It'll need a little bit of help to fold back down, and this one especially, because I've got that lace pocket. Okay, but I'm going to give it a bit of a squish. Now, ideally, I would leave that underneath something heavy overnight. And there we go. It is going to need a bit of help. The one on my journal cover needs a bit of help just to get it going. Right, let's see if it's going to work with my tag inside. That goes in there. Okay, let's see. Whoop, whoop. And there is the tag. Look at that. Isn't that just super? So you could have one of the sentiments. I think Rachel's got some sentiments. Are they in the freebies or in the kit? I think they might be in the freebies. And you could put, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, put your sentiment on the front there. Or you could even have your sentiment down here. And I think this needs something. So to finish it off, I'm probably going to cut out her. Not sure. Let's see what else we've got. What about any of these? Or are they too big? Is he going to be too big? Just trying to think if he's going to be too big. He might just fit in there. I might have to cut. I'm going to do him. And I might have to cut off a little bit more. So this is me just finishing off now, adding my bits. And off camera, I probably will add the lace and my gem to the bow and things like that to finish it off more. You could just keep going on and on. That little cluster that we did on the front with the stocking, that could have even been a pocket. You could have made that into a pocket to allow to hold something there. So there are, as I was saying before, you could just there are more and more ideas that come to mind once you start making these things and once you start seeing other people's, because you're like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. That's brilliant. So it's all, I'm just going to cut him off a bit more there because I know he's too big. So I'm going to ink. Just to finish this bit off. I think it needs something. You might be looking at it thinking, no, Marie, it's fine. But I think it needs finishing off. Let me get rid of this so that we can see what we're doing here. So I think him just there. Just there. Yes, I do. So let's just pop him in the bottom corner there. Bit of glue. I am trying hard to rush and get this through so that you can see and hopefully want to go and have a little try at this yourself. So he is going to go just there. Oh my goodness. I just love it. So, guys and dolls, as they say, there you have it. My 3D creative cover, kind of like a topper, I suppose, but it makes the cover. There we go. That would go on there. On my original one, I've cut that out of one of Rachel's background kits, I think, or it might even be one of the journal kits. So collaging up, digital, genuine vintage, digital, cut out. Here's my crochet star, very vintage, but this one would work just as well. Look at that. And then you would open it up. Oh, look, and you can even write your Christmas message in there. That's fab. I absolutely love it. And then close it up. How great is that? I'm going to tie that one so that you can see what it would look like, the finished thing. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed that, everybody. I hope you've been inspired by what Dianne and I have done for you today. My journal is on the way. I'm not quite finished it yet, so I'm not going to show you. I'll do a flip through at the end. But look, I really, really hope you've enjoyed making this cover piece with me. Thanks again, and I shall see you soon because I've got another one to do, and I'll be back again in the collaboration. So 40% off the kits at the moment. Go and get some and join in with us. See you soon. Bye.